This thing on? Yeah? Is it working? Okay, cool. Sweet. What's up, everybody? I'm White Rider. This is my friend the Quiet Kid, and today we're gonna be pimping out an R3, turning it into a tour bike. What do you think? Yeah. Anyways, it's gonna be dope. Alright, as you can see, we've got all of our setup for gear and whatnot. We have an R6 tube, some tank grip pads, lithium battery, tank bag, new exhaust with some spark plugs, steel brake lines, Fender Eliminator kit. We've got some 4-inch clip-ons for the more ergonomical shape. Got the chain, the new sprockets, second-hand Cortex saddlebags we'll be putting on, gold gel seat, gel thinger, whatever. We'll show you in the video. Some blinkers, and we've got some high-speed fabric that we're gonna put and reholster the seats with. Is that how it's said? Reholster? Reholster?
Reupholster?
Reupholster. I've heard of both ways.
Say reupholster.
Just took a peg to the back.
Ooh, sorry.
Not cool. Not cool.
That's it, buddy. I'm taking you apart.
What? Who put those there?
Yeah. I was lifting it and I saw it wasn't going up in the center.
My eye!
Make sure you have your bolts.
Ugh. Clear. I'm leaving mine on the ground.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm so scandalous. It's crazy.
If you're gonna do damage, you might as well make it like symmetrical with everything.
That's true, because symmetrical damage is okay.
Yep.
Alright, so here we have our 2019 Yamaha R3. So this has 321cc engine putting out about 50 horsepower or so. It's a twin parallel. It's got a top speed of about 110. I've hit 115 miles on it or so. Of course, it's chain driven, right? You've got 112 links, 520 pitch. You've also got the spring suspension that you can adjust for pillions and stuff like that. Obviously, you can see my passenger up here. She definitely needs that extra little bounce in the spring or whatnot. A nice LCD display, which literally has all the information you need, right? You've got the tachometer on the top, the speed, the gas, odometer, fuel temperature. Not too much, but also you're not missing anything, right? In 2019, they redid the design, made it look super sporty, just really mean looking. In addition to that, you have the upside down fork suspension, which makes it super nice for doing turns, windy canyon, twisting roads, stuff like that for me. The cool thing about this one, for me personally, is I do a lot of street riding, and the R3 is a lot less aggressive of a seating position than the R1 or the R6. So the R1, R6 is going to have you just very, very tucked in right on the bike, right? The R3 puts you at more of an ergonomical stance where riding for, 2-3 hours, that's how long I normally ride on the bike, you're not totally blowing at your back. So as you can see, I put some new levers on here. I also took out the front blinkers because I lay it down, they break all the time. But other than that, this bike is totally stock OEM, and dude, just excited to turn it into a tour. This is gonna be dope. Hi, and welcome to today's episode of So You Think You Can Mechanic. If you guys want to change out your brake lines, this is the video for you. I have a steel brake line cable, which is supposed to be really fancy and helpful in braking situations. First things first, what we're going to do is we're going to bleed the brake lines. So, there we go. Just going to loosen those. So I can get to the brake master cylinder a little bit easier. Okay, step number 2 is going to be on the floor over here. We're professionals, I promise. Okay, so as you can see right here, this is a brake caliper, right? This little bolt right here is what you use to bleed the brake line. So you take the dust cover off. It does take a little work, but it's just a rubber grommet. Just normally pull that off with your fingers. What I normally like to do is I like to feed my hose. I can't remember what size of hose this is, It should just be a small, like an 1/8, maybe a 1/4 inch hose that I got from Lowe's, Home Depot, that kind of thing. Just anything that's super cheap that you can use for this. Once you have your little tube on, right? What I normally do is I take a water bottle that I can use to fill up the brake fluid and whatnot, and I'll cut a little X into the top, right? Kids, don't do this at home because it's dangerous. You can cut yourselves. And we all know kids shouldn't cut themselves because they're our greatest treasure in life. So, once you have your little X cut in there, you're going to take the end of the line and you're just going to press it down in there as hard as you can. So this little nipple bolt right here is an 8mm, so I've got this. And all you're going to do is, I'll break it real quick. So, step 1, you're going to open it. Step 2, quiet kid's going to hit the lever. Step 3, you're going to close it. And we're just going to do that over and over again until we're good. Okay, so step 1, open. Step 2, push. And then step 3, close. So you don't have to pump it, just come in once.
Alright.
And then we're good. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Nice. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Alright. Let's take a look at the master cylinder. Make sure that it's going down. I'm gonna go ahead and take these 2 screws off so you can look into the cover. Okay, got those guys. Here's our cover. This is just a little baby cover that goes over the accordion. And then this is the accordion. So normally it's up here kind of flush. You can see it's going down, which is good, which means that we're pushing fluid out. Okay. So yeah, so as you can see, all the fluid is out of there, which is good because it's going to be less messy for us when we take the actual line out. Okay, and then if we come down here, go ahead and we'll open this basically all the way and just see if the fluid won't fall out on its own. As long as that hose is lower, it should just go out on its own. So as you can see up here, we're starting to get some air bubbles, right? Which means that for the most part, the brake line is going to be clear. Now the reason that you want to bleed it like this instead of just taking this bolt off and catching it with a paper towel or a bucket is brake fluid is super corrosive. So this is a really easy way of doing it safely without hurting the parts of your bike. It doesn't look like it's flown out anymore. I'll go ahead and close this nipple bolt. It's also really fun to take what's left in this bottle and throw it into a roommate's dormitory. Because for the most part, they'll either get really disgusted by it or drink it, which is a win for no, don't do that, don't do that. So now that we have everything out of the brake lines, next thing is going to be taking apart the actual line, right? So there's 4, kind of 5 bolts that you got to take apart. So this little reflector right here, I'm going to actually take that apart just so I can see stuff better. So it's an 8mm. Come on, good girl. Perfect. So as you can see, that opens up the brake line nicely. Okay, so the first one we're going to take apart is this bottom one right here. The reason we take this one apart first is that's where all the brake fluid is going to come out of. So you want to make sure you got a rag and a receptacle. It's a receptacle? It's a receptacle. Ready for when you come out. So it's a 12mm bolt. Just go ahead and put that right there. Looks like we got most of it from the bleeding. Alright, perfect. Clean this up so there's no residual brake fluid, anything like that. Quiet Kid's going to show you guys how to take the rest of it apart, and we'll go from there. sweet. Now that Quiet Kid has got all that stuff finished up there, down there, we're gonna do the bolt that's up here. So, the bolt that's up here, this guy, is the one that connects the line to the master cylinder, right? So this is a 12 millimeter bolt. Go ahead and add that. Break it loose. Did you see where that went, Quiet Kid? So, break the bolt. Go ahead and pull this out. Make sure you have a paper towel ready in case there's any residual brake fluid that comes out. This guy. Perfect. Got that little copper washer that's on the bottom. And then pull that out and let Quiet Kid take the line. Quiet Kid, take the line. Take it from my hands. So, now we've got our fancy new brake line, right? Let's feed this down to Mr. Quiet Kid. Actually, I'm gonna need that back. Give it back! Give it back! No! No! Double check, make sure that's going the right way. Because the biggest issue here is going to be that hitting the. Come in here, man. It's going to be hitting the screen. It's like, I don't know if you guys can see that. It hits the screen right there when we put it in. Today, we're going to be working on new clip-ons. These are a couple of Apex clip-ons that we have for this motorcycle. You can raise up to 4 inches or stay at a standard rate, I guess. So, we're just going to go ahead and put these on and hopefully make a good sort of, I don't even know, effect. A good looking, aesthetic, ergonomic. There we go. So first thing first, what we're going to do is we're going to take this plate right here off so we can take the old clip-ons off. So we've got a 5 millimeter Allen for these top two. We'll just break that off. Get that off to Quiet Kid. Aha! We'll put it in our fancy little bolt holder. We've also got this guy right here, which is another Allen screw. It's number 6. We just fit it in there and we pull it out. Now this one will have tension on it for a little bit longer just because it's compressing it to the forks. So let's get that. Sweet. We're going to take the same Allen wrench. There's another screw that's right underneath that one. Yeah, so it's that guy right there. So same thing, so it's a size 6. Just go ahead and throw that guy in there. Nice, cool. So as you can see, these slide now, right? Super easy to wiggle around. And once we get this back plate off, or top plate off, we'll be able to take it off. So this right here is a 20 millimeter socket. And what we're doing is, what's up? Oh, it's a 22. It's a 22 millimeter socket. I knew that. I'm a professional. I promise. Going for this guy, which will take the back plate off. And on 3, 1, 2, 3. There it is. Look at that. So gorgeous. So now, this plate should just pop right off.